Gophers dropped their first road game at Cal. This was sloppy. This was messy. This was not the outcome we wanted. They were playing 2 time zones back. We're going to dive into it all today here at the Gopher Broke podcast. What up? It is the Gopher Broke podcast. You are catching us live after the Gophers Cal game. Gophers fall 27-14. I stayed up way too damn late for the Gophers to be playing like this, but the Gophers just looked slow. They looked behind. They looked lackadaisical all damn night, and it showed, and Cal earned the win. Their quarterback torched us in the first half. The defense gets a little bit of a response in the second half. But Tristan, how you feeling? First losses in the books, not the way we wanted or predicted. How you going?
My only thought, honestly, people are not talking enough about how well Alabama played today. Alabama played against a solid football team today, and they routed them. And I just think that's what we should be talking more about.
Less Gophers talk, more about the Alabama important dub. But, I mean, that's how I feel after watching the Gophers just sleepwalk through this game. I mean, they literally fumbled the game away, not just figuratively in this one. The Gophers fall 27-14. The game was actually closer than the score insinuates, and I just hate how it all came down because in the first quarter and the second quarter, the whole first half, you are talking about a team that looks sluggish, they look behind, they look frazzled in the first quarter especially. Meanwhile, the California Golden Bears are showing they're the real golden team in that first half. I mean, their quarterback, JKS, was picking us apart left and right. The boy had like over 200 passing yards in the first half. And look, we had a Cal listener hop on our last video, our last show, and he was just chirping saying our predictions were so garbage and were insane because, oh, the Cal will crack above 260 yards like you said, or the 300 yards that I said. If you go and look at the yardage prior to the muff punt, so if the Gophers get that muff punt and they take a long drive and they score the ball and they end it like that, Cal would have finished with 302 yards. Like, we were actually in that type of range. We were in the ballpark when it came to how this game was looking, but then the Gophers just ultimately collapsed. Coy Parrish looked off all day, whether it was offensively, whether it was defensively, whether it was in the special teams game. And that sucks because he is one of your best 3 players on the team by far. You're already missing your best player in Darius Taylor. Then your second best player or third best player, however you want to put it, in Coy Parrish is playing behind. He's playing like he's still in Minnesota. And then Anthony Smith was the only one of the top 3 that really showed out, and he was getting held all damn day. So it's like, if none of your players can be in there and be a difference maker, like, then everybody else has to function as one unit, and that was not happening in this game. So the Gophers ultimately, man, I'm just so disappointed by how this all played out, how it all finished. Like, we had an opportunity, and we muffed a punt. We had an opportunity, and it's 3rd and 7, and we run the ball? Like, why? Why? PJ Fleck, why would you choose to run the ball on 3rd and 7? You're down by 3. Your quarterback that you've been gassing all offseason, that you have been talking about, he learned from Max Brosmer. We're putting more on his plate. The announcers are sitting here telling us about how he's making all these great checks, which he was. Like, he should have been talked about all offseason about being a success and all these things, because Drake Lindsey has a ton of potential and he shows that. But in the biggest moment where you can show you have trust in your young quarterback, you run the ball on 3rd and 7, play it safe with your field goal approach, and then it bites you in the ass because you missed the field goal. And then we get a stop. Tristan, we get a stop. And we muff the punt and muff the game away. Bro, talk me out of this. Where's the positive? Where can we find some sort of positivity? You are Mr. Minnesota over here.
I got you. Listen, what did I say at the beginning of the season? We're going 10-2. Okay? We're going 10-2. Tell me, true fact or fiction, is 10-2 still possible?
I don't know. Not if they play like
No.
this.
Whoa,
Not if
whoa,
they play
whoa,
like
wait.
this.
No. Did we lose more than 2 games so far?
Not yet. Not yet.
So 10-2 is still possible. Listen, shout out to the California Bears. JKS is a dude. You have a guy. I think he played very, very well. He looked awesome. That D-back, Moses, he is our Masses.
Masses.
He played very, very well as well. Ultimately, though, the Gophers lost this game more than Cal won this game. We did not play well at all. Like you said, Anthony Smith was getting held all night, but shout out to that offensive lineman. I don't know how else you guard Anthony Smith, and he was getting away with it all night. It was great. The D-line did not get the pressure. The D-backs looked all over the place. They just cut us up that whole first half. I don't know. It was rough. The only positives that I took away, Lemecki looked good. Drake looked good. Yep. We did not lose this game because of Drake Lindsay. He played very well. Even that pick was but freshman quarterback's going to throw picks. You have to be able to overcome stuff like that. The defense was disappointing. The first half, it didn't feel, I think I texted you, it felt like before we scored that touchdown, it felt like we were already down 3 scores. Like there was no energy. We talked about Coy looked off all night. Coy looked like something was eating at him. I don't know what it was, but like the muff punt was uncharacteristic of him to the max. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, the whole game was just rough ride. Now, look, you said that Minnesota lost this game more than California won it. If we were just looking at the first half, I would say California won it. Like they were just grinding and killing us and picking us apart. That second half, the defense responded. They came out right away. They got a sack on the first drive that the defense was out there. And not only was it a sack, it was like a 16-yard lost sack. They put the pressure on Jaron, and all of a sudden, you're talking about, okay, we got some momentum, we got some movement, and we really slowed down their offense in the first 2 offensive drives that they had in the second half. But then again, you shoot yourself in the foot with that 3rd and 7 decision, and then missing a field goal, and then muffing a punt, and then you put them in the range to get an easy score. It's like that's where all of a sudden Minnesota came back. They had the effort, they had the score in their favor, and then all of a sudden, or they're down by 3 at one point, and then all of a sudden they start shooting themselves in the foot, whether it be on defense, whether it be on special teams, whether it be on offense. Then everything fell apart. So definitely the second half of this game, Minnesota lost it more than California won it. First half, Cal killed us, like plain and simple.
Yep. Oh, yes.
But if other people have comments, drop them in the comments. We'd love to see them on the show. Ko said, damn, they manhandled us. He's not wrong. Their O-line was just shutting down our defensive line. We got 8440K that said, your number 0 is making me pull my hair. He is a stud. Look, Anthony Smith is the real deal. He is the only Gophers player that I felt like from start to finish showed up and was like, I'm here to play. Lemecki Brockington also. I'll put him in that category. But like it felt like most of the Gophers were 2 time zones back, and like it was just super frustrating. Now, like you said, Drake Lindsay didn't lose us this game. He had a couple hiccup throws here and there, but overall, like he was doing his job. We had another Jalen Smith, multiple drops in this game, and that dude has so much talent. He has so much ability, but he keeps dropping the ball, and now it's happened in 2 different games of the 3. He didn't really get opportunities in the Northwestern State game, but he's got to figure that out or he is going to lose his time on the field. So overall, here's my biggest thing, Tristan. Here's the thing that bothers me the most about this California game with Minnesota. The biggest difference, in my opinion, in these 2 teams is that the Bears lean into their quarterback and trust him. Whether he is making a dumb throw, whether he is putting something on his back, whether he wants to go for it on a 4th down, they're going to trust him, and they're going to be like, he's going to carry us to where we need to go. Whereas Minnesota took way too long to get Drake into the groove, and then they showed the lack of trust in that big 3rd and 7 moment. And then all of a sudden you have him come back in the next drive after you get a defensive stop, and you're like, oh, like we'll have Drake keep throwing it because now we're down 10, so we got to pass the ball. It's like, Well, how is he supposed to feel confident when you just had an opportunity to have him build that confidence and you're like, nah, let's run it on 3rd and 7 and took the ball out of his hands? You have to trust this guy that you have been gassing up all offseason and all season to this point. I thought that was a terrible mistake by Coach Fleck. It was a class of passive moment that we have seen with the Gophers too many times over the years. And I thought things were being different this year because we were being more aggressive a lot of the time. But it all came down to a critical moment with passive PJ and then a muff punt that finished us off.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I did have hope when we started that second half, when we had that like 6-7 minute drive. I texted, I was like, I think this is a classic PJ drive. You know, we cap it off, we score, get a stop, get the ball back, do the same thing. But I don't think we have the offense to just keep doing that. We're not going to have that. We got to be able to air the ball out. We got to be able to throw it. And I don't think, even in the first half, like Lindsey is not showing any signs of being timid. Like that first half, we're on our own too. Like he's standing in the end zone. He's just standing in there. He's patient. He's calm. He's not concerned about the pressure. Like he's making passes. We get out of it. Like I don't see why we're reverting back to this run that run on 3rd and long. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. Like we cannot keep running on 3rd and long. Like why is this in the playbook? That shouldn't even be on the call sheet. Like if we need 7 yards, throw the ball. Like what are we doing here?
Dog, the football gods tried to make us throw the damn ball. They said, Darius Taylor, you're not playing in this game. And then they're like, you know what? Your running back 2 is going to get hurt in this game. And they were like, throw the damn ball. And PJ's like, nah, bruh. We like 4 or 5 deep. We don't keep on going. How deep are we? Now, look, I will give the offensive line credit because they had lots of moment of push in this game. But if you think about if we took more shots down the field, if we passed the ball a little bit more, let Drake get a little bit more comfortable, that keeps pushing the secondary back for the Cal Bears like they were doing to us. You're pushing that secondary back and keeping them on their heels. Then when you run the ball, all of a sudden you have bigger run lanes because their secondary is playing the pass. Like they did exactly what we should have started to adjust to do later on. Now, there were gaps where the run was successful. I called ahead of this game. I thought it was going to be Fame Ijiboy's breakout game. 16 attempts, 85 yards. Like, that is not a bad night. But overall, we needed more. We were too lackadaisical. We were playing slow. It didn't look like everybody had that fury, that swagger to them like we're used to, especially on the defense. Like the defense just wasn't in it today, and I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
The secondary was just getting caught up in that first. And I mean, as I've said many times on this show, I don't know nothing. I am very dumb. But the secondary was just getting caught up. I don't know what coverages we were in or what was happening, but it wasn't good. It wasn't it. Even the times where our line would get pressure, it was still like there was no coverage. Like it was, we'd flush him out of the pocket and he'd still find someone downfield, which I get it. You can't cover forever, but
right.
It was rough.
Look, props to the California Golden Bears. You got a real quarterback. You have running game, like not whatsoever. You don't have running game, so you got to work on that part. But I mean, you didn't need it in this game apparently. But here's the thing: brought it up, and it was great. Our defensive line depth definitely showed tonight because we couldn't get consistent push on this offensive line. So he had a lot of time. And then when you don't have enough push, especially from the interior, then he moves out to the exterior, and all of a sudden you're in a scramble drill. Now, his wide receivers and tight ends, Jaron Kiawe Sagapolutele, I had that way better earlier in the week. But
I think you nailed it.
Look, it's 1 in the morning. Perfect. We're trying over here. Anyway,
you got it.
JKS had extra time out in the pocket, but all of a sudden it's a scramble drill, and his wide receivers and pass catchers know what he's looking for in a scramble drill, and all of a sudden they're finding the holes, they're finding the gaps, they're finding the weaknesses in the zone, and you can't cover forever like you were saying, but it's like we never adjusted to that. There was a point where they ran the ball on the first play of the second quarter, and then they didn't run the ball again, I think, for the rest of the second half, bro. Like, they were like, we're going to pass it. We're going to pass it 13 straight times, and if you're not going to adjust to it, we're going to keep doing it.
Do you think it has, I mean, this is obviously stupid, but do you think it has anything to do with, okay, the people we've played before, when we get pressure, it's a wrap. I mean, the first 2 games, when we got pressure, the D-backs are like, oh, never mind. If he hasn't thrown it yet, he's not throwing it. So it's like this kind of Pavlonian thing where like, okay, I'm good. 3 seconds of coverage and I'm good. If he didn't throw it yet, he's never going to throw it. And now we face this running quarterback
Maybe
who
if it was high school. If it
will
was high
extend a
school, then
play.
I would get into that if it was high
But
school.
that's what it
these
feels
dudes,
like.
no, dude. These dudes been playing for far too long. You got Coy Parrish, who is a starter and had been there. I mean, our other guys have started games in bigger moments. Zaquan's played in bigger moments before. John Nestor had played at Iowa at times. Like, they've been in those positions. They know what it's like. So
It
I
just
can't give
looks
that to
so
them.
bad tonight. It looks
Like I
so
said,
sloppy.
I
Like it
think they
looked
were
different.
stuck in 2 time zones ago. Like, they were not
Yeah.
there. Mentally, I don't know where they were, but it was not fully on this game. And I feel like that's what we're going to hear in the presser from PJ in this thing. He's probably going to say the coaches didn't have him ready and we got to do better and all this stuff, which is true. Which is true.
Oh
Third and
yeah.
seven
Oh
running
yeah.
the goddamn ball. Get that shit out of here. I am so. It's 1 a.m. You're getting unfiltered Kane today because this is some bull. Some bull, man. We had every opportunity to win this game, even when we weren't playing our best. But it becomes one of the games that we're going to look back on at the end of the season
Yep.
and say, look, we could have had a shot in that game. Just like Rutgers last year, just like North Carolina last year, just like Northwestern 2 years ago. Like, I hate it. We always have multiple games like this, but I shouldn't be shocked by it. And you know what? There are some Gophers fans that weren't shocked by it. This is exactly how they had initially thought this would go. And if you're one of those Gophers fans, you can feel free to let us know in the comments, whether you're watching on Twitter or YouTube. But overall, I want to get into a couple things before we talk about Rutgers and end this bad boy. First off, what is your biggest worry after this game?
The bounce back. It's always the bounce back. Like this is the first big loss. So you gotta hope that these guys take it with, this puts a chip on their shoulder. Like, hey, okay, now we've played real football. We played a real team. We got to lock in. Like we don't like the way this feels. We got to lock in now.
Yeah, my biggest worry is, are we going to have more issues like this in the secondary? Because he picked us apart today. Ethan's been picking people apart, which I know some Gophers fans will be shocked by that, but Ethan Caligmanis has been dropping like 250 bones on every team they've been playing so far. And if we come and play like that today, he might manhandle us in Minnesota, and I will not stand for that. I will not. We need to figure this shit out. Now, luckily, we have a bye week this week, so we can prep, we can get healthy. Darius will have 3 weeks of rest time from this last week, this upcoming week with the bye, and then all of next week until we get to that Rutgers game. So hopefully 3 weeks will be enough for his hamstring to be right and ready to go, because we definitely need him and we miss him. But after that, guess what? We have Ohio State, who is going to want to throw the ball. And so we have to find a way to respond, especially in the pass defense, starting today. Starting on that flight back, those coaches have to be breaking down the film on how the hell can we adjust and make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that Ohio State game, that's a big game for our 10-2 record. I will say that. But I know I 100% agree. I am anti week 4 bye week. I hate that so much, but I love that we have one because this is the perfect time, because after a loss like this, we have to regroup. It feels like now we have to start a new season. That's kind of what it feels like. So I don't know.
All right, what is your biggest positive from this game? You're Mr. Minnesota. I need you to pick me up here. What's the biggest positive?
I think Drake still looked good. I think it's if your quarterback doesn't look good in a loss like this, you have no hope, because you need a quarterback. Your quarterback in a loss like this, where he's not the issue and he wasn't the big problem, things can be fixed. There is upside. Like, you have a dude still. We know we have dudes on defense. I think maybe that's what it takes. We just had to get punched in the mouth tonight.
Punched in the mouth, got to get back up. My biggest positive is that, one, Lemecki Brockington sighting, like, holy crap, we got a dude who's ready to find it. And this is what we've always been hoping for over the last few years. But if this is the Lemecki Brockington that's coming to play from now to the end of the season, I'm here for it. Like, he was finding the openings.
Yep.
He was creating extra yardage after the catch. He was finding ways to put that Freaks List title that he got on display. And so if that continues, I love it. Also, Javon Tracy, we have to find ways to get him the ball more because he comes up in big moments, but we don't look for him enough. Now, think about how much we looked for Daniel Jackson. Think about how much we looked for Elijah Spencer. We got to treat Javon Tracy and Lemecki Brockington like that. Now, I know Jalen Smith was in that category, but until he can put the damn glue on the gloves, like, you got to prove it first at this point. At this point, I would rather see him have 3 targets a game and the other 2 have 8 to 10 than him to get a good 5 and 5 and 5. I want the guys who are proving it under the lights to get the looks. And that's what I think we're going to start leaning more into. And again, once Darius is on the field, you'll have more checkdowns to him. I think Fame earned himself some more touches, maybe to be the running back 2. In my opinion, I think he looks like he has the most special to him of these other backs. But those were some of my positives from this one.
I think the drops can get cleaned up. And I mean, that may be personal bias because I know somebody who struggled with drops on the team one time. But I think the drops can be cleaned up. And that's, it's the first away game. You're a young player. So who knows what the case is there. But I still have faith in him. I think he has so much potential. Like we've talked about, he's probably got some of the more upside in the entire room. So I got faith in him. I think that can be cleaned up.
Yeah, unfortunately, this heading into a bye week is going to hurt the momentum for the fan base. So I don't know what the turnout is going to look like for that Rutgers game, but we need the fans to show up and show out because, look, your old quarterback and your old offensive coordinator are coming to town. We can't drop that game. You can't go to 2-2 or 2-2. You have to respond and find a way at home to protect home field. And I think that is a great way for them to respond. I think it's extra motivation for Coach Fleck, for Coach Harbaugh, because you're playing coordinators and quarterbacks that you've basically said, you don't fit us. You don't work for us. And now you got to go prove it. Prove why it doesn't work. Because if you go 0-2 to those 2, you look the fool. You look the fool.
Tough. Yeah. It is. So, it's a bad look. Who does Rutgers play next week? Would next week be their first Big Ten opponent then? Because they didn't play anybody today, right?
I am not sure on that one. I will pull it up. But overall, right now, Rutgers looks not great defensively. Defensively, they have looked very poor. They let Ohio put up 31 points on them. They let I don't think that's from this year. They let Miami of Ohio kind of pick them apart for a little bit, and then they ran away with it. But Rutgers' offense has been putting up points. They had 34 points in I think they played week 1. Week 2, they had 45 points, and week 3, they had 60 points. They've just been climbing the ladder.
Yeah,
but
Asians look good.
Yep. You are right, though. They have their first Big Ten game next week versus Iowa. It is at Rutgers, so they'll be playing at home, but they play Iowa, who hasn't looked great, and then they will come to Minnesota. So hopefully you get a little extra look on them and what they like to do offensively, and you can build the game plan to really put your best foot forward. But Minnesota has to respond in that game. Otherwise, this season could get away from you in a hurry, because if you drop the Cal game, then you drop the Rutgers game, and then you drop an Ohio State game, not only are you away from Tristan's 10-2 prediction, but you are also on a 3-game losing streak heading to your homecoming with Purdue, who tried to put up a fight against USC today, and then you've got a tough stretch with Nebraska, Iowa, and you start to lose the rails. You start to get off the rails. You have to respond, build your momentum back up, show this game could maybe be a fluke, and move forward.
Yeah, that would be devastating for my whole reputation if I'm wrong about the 10-2 thing, because people look to me as the foremost Gopher
as
expert.
Mr. Minnesota.
That's what they call me. They literally call me that, and so that would be the biggest loss of the whole season.
All right, but that's going to do it for us on this one. We just wanted to jump onto a quick live postcast, talk about this loss. We will break it down a little bit further in this week's show, which will probably drop on Wednesday morning, and then we will also get into some fun talks. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have concerns, we'll take a mailbag heading into this week as well, because we're on bye week, so we got to get crazy with this next couple shows, get a little creative. So make sure you tap in over at wherever you get podcasts, Gopher Broke Podcast, or over on YouTube. be sure to subscribe there. Find me at Gophers Kane Rob over on Twitter, and I will be dropping a mailbag question multiple times this week. The last question we just had come in, I'll throw it up here really quick. Is Parrish playing in all three phases, spreading him too thin? I
I
think
don't
that
think it's spreading
answer.
him. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I think I'm going exactly where you were. I think that answer will come as we continue to see it, but I don't think it is. I think this was just a bad day. I think his brain was somewhere else today, and you could see that from start to finish. It didn't matter which facet he was in, but I think overall he has the athleticism to do it. It's not like they're out there putting him in 100% of the offensive snaps, 100% of the defensive snaps. Like, they're still using him in smart capacities. I think the timing of that trick play was stupid. I know you disagree with me. We got a little
I
text battle
love
going
the
on that
trick
one.
play.
But, like, if you put yourself into field goal range or something first before you try a trick play, that seems more smart in my opinion. But we lost yardage there. I don't know if I'd fully put it on Coy. That was just a poor timing, and they sussed it out right away. I think you had a really good point about what you said with Coy. What in the return game? What was your thoughts on that one?
No, I think he's itching. He's an athlete. He's a football player. He wants to make football plays. And I kind of saw it last week. You could see it every time he'd fair catch a punt, shake his head like, damn, I really wanted to return that. Like, you can tell he has that itch. And so I think that there's a part of it where he's in the end zone already before the ball is even kicked to him. And so I think that's the part that's frustrating him. I kind of talked about it. I texted you. I was like, maybe we just draw some easy offensive plays to get the ball in his hands so he knows, like, I'm being effective. I'm in this game. I'm playing football. And that locks him in. Because it does seem like he's always trying to make a play, which is not bad. But I think sometimes it causes mental lapses, though. Like, he wants to play ball.
Yeah, I think in tandem with that too, like I think normally that's great for us. I think that's what led to interceptions last year and things like that
Absolutely.
because he has the itch and the knack for it. But I think in a game like today where everything feels a little bit off, whether that was the time zone, whether there's that something else going on that none of us know about, maybe something big in life happened and his brain isn't always in the game on that point. We don't know. We don't know those backstories. But overall, if you pair that with his itch and his drive of wanting to do it, but then you're playing a step behind, that's when a mistake can happen. That's when a muff punt can happen because you're like, this is the moment. It's a big moment. We just got a big stop on defense. If I pick this up and I bring it an extra 40 yards or I house it, game over. Like, that's who I am. And he's always been that. But then if you're a step behind or you're not all the way there or things like that, and then you try to, that's where a mistake, a hiccup or something, and it can be game changing like we experienced today. So I don't think it's spreading him too thin. And if it is, we'll learn that really fast in these next few games because now we're turning the page to Big Ten season.
Yeah.
So I think regardless, we've seen him play in the return game and defensively last year, and he looked great on both facets. So you've added some offensive plays, but I don't think that is taken away from his other things. I mean, you talk about there was one play in this game prior to the muff punt where Emmanuel Carmel gets his hand up to deflect the ball, which great, you want that.
Yep.
But if he doesn't deflect that ball, Coy Parrish is housing that. He was already driving on it. He read the play. He saw the tight end was where he was going. He would have pick six that easy. He would have walked into the end zone, but tip ball, and it didn't work out. And I think putting that together now, this is me just speaking live off the cuff. If you just had the adrenaline of, damn, I was about to house that, and now 2 plays later, you're about to get a punt return, you're like, oh, I'm making up for it right here. I'm doing it right here. I was supposed to house that pick 2 plays ago, and now's my moment. And all of a sudden, trying to do too much or play hero ball in that moment. He is a dog. I have no bad thoughts about Coy Parrish.
Nope.
He is still top 3 player on this team, and we need him to be successful. It was just a rough game today.
So much more of this game was about how we played other than that muff punt. Coy is a dog, and he just happens to play a position where you can't, like a defensive lineman can have that same mentality where I'm going to wreck everything and just get pancaked and nobody knows about it. Like, nobody knows about it. But when you're in a position like his, like, I'm going to wreck everything. I'm going to make a play here. You might get burnt on a play. You might muff a punt. Like, you make those mental mistakes and it's a lot more noticeable. So I don't knock Coy Parrish. I think he needs to keep being who he is.
Yeah.
But I think there was a mental thing today with him, and I bet he'll be the first one to say it. So
here's the thing with a player like Coy Parrish is, like, this will only fuel him. It's not going to put him down. He's not going to get in the
Yeah,
funk.
exactly.
This will only make him want to bring that demon out and be like, look, here we go. Here's the real Koi Parich. Here's what I am and you know me as. So I'm not worried about Koi. I mean, congrats to Cal. They earned it,
Yes.
especially in the first half. They've got a real deal quarterback. They got to fix the run game somehow, but best of luck to them in the ACC. Hopefully they just keep balling out and this looks like a formidable team because they played a hell of a game.
Absolutely.
Minnesota wasn't
Yeah.
fully there, and hopefully we can respond.
Yeah, I agree that Cal looked good. They did look good. JKS. If I'm a Cal fan, be very excited to have JKS as your quarterback. He looks really good. He would be a fun dude to cheer for. So
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us. Again, please subscribe over on YouTube, follow on Twitter. We're doing these lives after every game. Hopefully, you'll be at the next one. And then we drop a podcast episode every week as well. So hit subscribe over on YouTube. We'll see you then. Until next time, roll the boat, Sky Umago Gophers. Try to wipe this one off. Hopefully, your Vikes get a dub here on Sunday Night Football.